Yo, what is up, fam? It's your boy Legend, and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto sealed himself for 7,000 years to save everyone? Now, you guys already know this is day 4 of me making a video while in the hospital. And you already know, everybody loves the Azula ships. They just love Naruto crossovers into Avatar in general. I don't know why, but they just love it. My goal for this video is going to be 5 likes as per usual. Subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if.
Hate us, and we deserve it.
The sun had barely crested the horizon, its faint golden light filtering through the thick veil of tree branches above. Mist curled around the massive tree trunks, clinging to the forest floor like ghostly fingers, reluctant to let go of the night. But within this hidden grove, nestled high above the forest floor in a treehouse mansion of chakra forest, wood, and vines, the air crackled with life. Naruto was already awake. In the clearing just beyond the treehouse balcony, Naruto trained like a man possessed. His movements were precise, brutal, beautiful, shirtless, and barefoot. His entire body was slick with sweat, muscles taut and rippling with every strike. His fists tore through the air like a force that made the nearby leaves tremble, and each spinning kick was like the arc of a blade through water, smooth and devastating. Every breath he took came with a controlled growl, every step a reminder of the predator he had become in this chakra-starved world. His body glistened in the early morning light, steam rising off him like a living furnace. Scars lined his chest and back like ancient calligraphy, trophies of battles hard won, losses barely survived. And watching him like a lioness from the edge of the trees was June. She was sitting on a broad tree root, one leg crossed lazily over the other, chewing absently on a sprig of dry grass she didn't even realize that she'd picked. Her eyes were locked on Naruto like he was the last man alive. Her pupils dilated, her lips slightly parted. She tried not to drool. She had seen warriors before, been with some too, but none of them were like him. Naruto wasn't polished or princely. He was raw, carved from stone and fire, a walking contradiction of peace and violence. His power seemed barely contained, like the earth itself had given up on trying to restrain him. And that body, God's that body. June was not easily flustered. She bedded men she liked. She robbed ones that she didn't, and she killed those who confused her. She was confident, daring, even reckless, but standing up and walking towards him now, that took more courage than she'd like to admit. Still, boldness was a muscle, and hers was well trained. She rose slowly, brushing the dirt from her leathers, hips swaying as she stepped forward. There was a hunger behind her movements, a feline grace that matched the predatory gleam in her eyes. Every step was deliberate, possessive, as if she were stalking a prize meant solely for her. But she wasn't the only one watching. Azula had arrived. She stood silently on the high balcony of the treehouse, arms crossed, a cup of hot tea forgotten in her hand. The steam rose to her face and was immediately drowned by the heat of her own breath, sharp and irritated. Her eyes glinted dangerously, glowing ever so faintly orange as they locked on June's every step. The sight of Naruto, shirtless and perfect, did things to her she wasn't proud of. The Fire Princess was no stranger to longing, but this yearning was deeper than pride and older than fear. And now June dared touch what wasn't hers. Naruto paused mid motion when he noticed June approaching, her eyes shamelessly raking over him. He wiped sweat from his brow with the back of his hand, blinking. You need something? June didn't answer. She was already in front of him, fingers stretched forward like a worshiper before an altar. Her hand made contact, his abs hot and hard beneath her fingers. She exhaled like she had been holding her breath the whole time. Gods above, she whispered, running her hand slowly up his torso, fingers dragging across the deep ridges of his stomach, then up across his chest. Her eyes glazed over like she was drunk on his scent, his heat. Naruto stiffened. His blush came slowly, creeping in from the sides of his face like a rising tide. He didn't move away, but he didn't know how to respond either. His eyes darted to the side. June's other hand joined the first, her palms now openly gliding over his pecs, shoulders, collarbone. You're you're really built like this just for hiding in the woods, she murmured, voice low and sultry. But before Naruto could respond or retreat, Azula's voice cut through the clearing like a whip of fire. You don't need to run your hands all over Naruto like some object. Now stop. June froze, hands still pressed against Naruto's chest. Her head turned slightly, lips curling into a half smirk, half snarl. On the balcony, Azula stood like a storm given form. Her eyes were glowing orange now, flickers of flame dancing in the corners. Smoke coiled from her nostrils and the edges of her lips. For a moment, it looked like her mouth might actually spew fire. She turned sharply, robe fluttering behind her like the wings of a hawk in retreat. Men like Naruto deserve worship, yes. She snapped without looking back, but not from hands that treat him like a toy. And then she vanished back inside. Naruto exhaled like a weight had been lifted off of him. Whoa, he muttered, brushing June's hands off of his torso. That could have gone worse. June blinked, then raised her hands in mock surrender. I don't usually get interrupted that harshly. Naruto gave a tired sigh, his expression growing distant. You wanna deal with the three that were spying on us? June tilted her head. Three what now? Naruto didn't answer. He simply closed his eyes, and his body seemed to vibrate, just for a split second. Then, static. He was gone. 1.5 miles away, hidden in a dense foliage on a high ridge, Toph sat cross-legged. Ty Lee sat on her stomach next to Mai, who held a small spyglass to her eye. Okay, that was kinda hot, Ty Lee whispered, chewing her lip. June was really going for it. Mai didn't answer. Her eyes stayed locked through the lens. Azula's going to kill her. Yeah, and maybe Naruto will kill Azula if she keeps doing that jealous rage thing, Toph muttered. Honestly, you people are exhausting. Ty Lee giggled. Then the air behind them shifted. The sound was not a sound. It was the absence of distance. Naruto stood there, arms folded, eyes half lit like he hadn't just crossed a mile and a half of forest in a heartbeat. The trees didn't even sway. No leaves rustled. Time hadn't caught up yet. None of them had even felt him coming. He spoke quietly, almost bored. Enjoying the show? Naruto stood behind them, his arms folded, leaning casually against a tree trunk, like he had been part of their little spy circle the entire time. And somehow, they still hadn't noticed him. His eyes narrowed slightly in disbelief. Not a single twitch from Toph, not a glance from Mai, and Ty Lee was still rambling with animated gestures like this was some kind of tea time gossip session in the middle of a battlefield. They were so lost in their conversation that if Naruto had wanted to, he could have joined in with a comment or two. Hell, he wanted to now, just to see if they'd even flinch. How mad do you think Azula is that at that June girl? Ty Lee asked, in a giddy whisper, twirling a lock of her hair around one finger. Real question, Mai muttered dryly, still watching the clearing through the small spyglass, is how mad do you think Azula is at that Naruto guy? That's the real question. I mean, we can all clearly see that she really likes the sun-kissed stud, but he's the only one who hasn't noticed. Naruto blinked slowly. Sun-kissed stud? That was it. I'm standing right here, Naruto said, voice calm but carrying the weight of 1,000 chakra expressions, like whispers made of thunder. All three of them jumped. Toph's head snapped toward the voice, face twisting in shock. What? Mai dropped the spyglass, and in one fluid movement, her hand darted into her sleeve. No doubt for her knives. Ty Lee squealed, going to her mouth in mock guilt and delight. Naruto sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. You three know a lot about me, he said, voice lighter now. But I know nothing about the three of you nice women. Toph was the first to act. She stomped her foot on the ground, intending to send a pillar of stone between them to create distance, but nothing happened. Her brow furrowed. Again, she stomped, but nothing. You're messing with the earth, she muttered, more surprised than angry. You canceled the vibrations. That's not supposed to be possible. Naruto raised a hand and shrugged, like it was no big deal, just the everyday thing to him. Didn't want you blowing up the ridge. We're up pretty high up, you know? Mai had her hand halfway to her blade pouch when Naruto turned to her with a slightly raised eyebrow. Come on, he said, gesturing down into a non-threatening manner. Can we not act like I'm some threat? If I was a threat, I wouldn't have made myself known. Mai hesitated for a beat, then slowly, reluctantly, withdrew her hand from her cloak. That's when Naruto caught something. Not something, someone. With instinct alone, A blur of motion, arms wrapped around his neck, legs swinging slightly in the air. Ty Lee was clinging to him like a hyperactive monkey. What the? Naruto stiffened, eyes wide. She squeezed him in a gleeful hug, cheek pressed to his sweat slicked shoulder. Oh, wow. You really are this solid up close. Naruto blinked twice, unsure what to do with the clingy acrobat currently dangling off of his torso like an oversized ornament. He gently reached up, unhooked her arms, and sat her down with the slow precision of a man defusing a bomb. Ty Lee landed lightly on her feet and immediately launched into a breathless rant. I told Mai and Toph that if I ever even got 1 second alone with you, I'd make my move before Azula ever got the guts to make hers. You're like, ugh. You're like if the sun got bored and decided to become a man. Do you even know what you're doing to women, Naruto? He just stared at her. Ty Lee kept going. I mean, seriously, your vibe is incredible. Strong but distant. Sad but mysterious. It's killing me. You're like this walking god statue. Like a tragic war sculpture that I just have to climb. Naruto was more confused than he had ever been in his life. Was this flirting? Was this how people flirted? He didn't even know anymore. He glanced at Toph, who was smirking now, like she was enjoying the awkward show, and then at Mai, who had the decency to look mildly mortified. And Ty Lee just kept talking. So Naruto did the only thing that made sense. Static. He vanished. He was gone in a flash of after images, leaving behind a few falling leaves where he once stood. Ty Lee blinked at the empty space. Did I say too much? Toph laughed and patted her shoulder. You think? Mai just groaned and sat back against the tree, muttering, This is going to be a long week. The wooden door of the treehouse mansion creaked open slightly as Naruto stepped inside, wiping sweat from his brow and tugging at the waistband of his training pants. The air inside was cooler, a contrast to the humid jungle breeze outside, but the moment he entered, he could feel the tension like a physical weight pressing down on his chest. The space that once felt quiet and isolated now brimmed with a volatile heat that rivaled the firebending abilities of one of its occupants. Azula and June were already mid-argument, standing no more than a few feet apart, glaring at each other with enough force to light the place ablaze. Who gave you the authority to touch Naruto like that? Azula's voice cracked through the room like a whip. I was about to make a joke, but let me stop. There was no regal calm in her tone now, just pure, unfiltered fury. Her golden eyes burned, and her nostrils flared with a huff of steam. Naruto could swear he saw actual fire trail from her nostrils as she exhaled. June didn't flinch, arms crossed beneath her ample chest. She stood her ground with that same signature cocky, irreverent calm that she always carried. She looked Azula dead in the eye and replied, voice low and even, I don't need authority to see something I like and pursue it. Doesn't matter if it's a few coin or a man too hot for this damn world. I saw something I wanted, or should I say someone that I wanted, and I went for it. Unlike you. Naruto froze halfway across the room, unsure whether to intervene or just quietly vanish again like he did with Ty Lee. The argument felt too intense to just wade into. And the idea of being at the center of it made him feel more naked than if he had walked in without pants. Azula's fist clenched, flames licking the sides of her palms now. Her anger wasn't just embarrassment, it was possessive rage. But June was undeterred. She stepped closer with the grace of a predator who knew her quarry couldn't escape. Hey, June added with a smirk, raising an eyebrow. If it's that big a deal to you, why don't you make a move on him yourself? After all, you already watch him train every morning while he's shirtless. All you have to do is grow a damn spine. Naruto blinked rapidly. She watches me train every morning? This day was getting progressively harder to process. Azula looked like she was about to explode. Literal embers floated in the air between them. The heat in the room surged, but Naruto still didn't know what to do. A lifetime of being ignored or scorned by women had never prepared him for a scene like this. Being fought over. It was completely foreign. Like he'd stepped into someone else's dream. Trying not to draw attention to himself, Naruto started inching past the two women. All he wanted to do was take a hot shower and a moment to collect his thoughts. He was halfway to the hallway when he felt a familiar touch wrap around him from behind. June. Her arms encircled his waist, and before he could even turn, her hands were on his bare torso, again, fingers trailing along his abs, then upward across his chest and pectorals with deliberate reverence. She murmured behind him, her voice low and sultry. You see, Azula, all you need to do is grow a spine. Be bold for once. Naruto will let you feel and touch all you want, because I don't think he's had too much experience with women. Naruto's face turned bright red. The feel of her palms on his skin sent a rush of nervous heat to his face, and his muscles tensed involuntarily. He was trying to focus, trying to remain composed, but the whole situation was crashing over him like a wave. June continued, still pressed against him, her words slicing through the air like poisoned arrows. Take that as you want, Azula. But the way I see it, that means I could possibly become his first love interest. Meaning, I could be the woman to take his virginity. If he's a virgin. Or it could be you. Either way, I like Naruto. And yes, maybe it's shallow because I like him for his looks. I mean, he's a god in human form. But I still want him. Naruto was frozen. He'd gone on missions that required him to assassinate men with chakra enhanced blades. He'd infiltrated human trafficking rings. He'd walked through the bloodiest mud pits of war. But this was new terrain. This was dangerous. This was unpredictable. A kind of chaos no Anbu training manual had ever prepared him for. He wasn't used to being admired like this. He had grown up thinking women either looked through him or thought he was loud, obnoxious, and forgettable. But now, here were two women, powerful women, arguing, touching, and fighting for him. And the weirdest part, it was all unfolding without him saying a word. So deep in thought was Naruto that he didn't even notice June's hands had slipped under his shirt. Her fingers pressed flat against his skin now, warm and curious. That's when it happened. Azula let out a scream, her rage finally boiling over. With a sudden inhale, she exhaled a torrent of orange flames through her mouth. Naruto's instincts kicked in just in time. He grabbed June and rolled them both out of the line of fire, the blast hitting the wooden wall behind them and charring it black. Smoke hissed from the edges. Okay, okay, Naruto shouted, standing up and patting out the tiny embers on his pants. He looked between the two of them, June looking amused and slightly breathless, Azula looking like she was about to commit arson on a personal level. He held up both his hands. I'm going to take a shower. Alone. And maybe after that, we all sit down, talk like adults, and not turn my treehouse into a volcano. Deal? Azula turned away sharply, arms crossed, her face still flushed and smoke lightly curling from her lips. June just gave him a wink and slowly licked her lips before stepping back. Naruto didn't wait for a response. He turned and made his way to the hall, shaking his head in disbelief. He'd fought gods, demons, and monsters, but he was starting to think women were the most dangerous battlefield of all. But guys, I'm going to end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe while you're at it. Remember, the like goal for this video is going to be 5 likes as usual. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.